Here's a talk from a fellow indie dev to other indie devs. I've been learning and using Unity for literal ages. It was probably the most accessible engine possible to get into, given to its free availability and its somewhat easy to use and access to. However, the powers that be that lead the game engine have been ruining the game engine for everybody except for those who can afford being exploitative as a AAA game industry. What happened? What did go wrong at Unity Technologies for it to fall from grace? Well, let me tell you, everything. First, let's look at the man who's responsible for this. John Riccitiello, the CEO of Unity, a man well known for being the ex-CEO of Electronic Arts, the shittiest game company in the planet, which won 2 awards for being the shittiest corporation in America. See the red flags yet? A man who on June 5th, 2019 was sued for sexual harassment and a wrongful termination by a former vice president alongside his co-worker. The company soon denied these allegations, but the legal dispute so far is far from over and nobody could trust a word from Riccitiello's dirty fucking mouth. So you know who the CEO is, a dirty pig who will do anything and everything to exploit his workers in any way conceivable. Lovely. Now in 2022 he came up with this gem in an interview. Ferrari and some of the other high-end car manufacturers still use clay and carving knives. It's a very small portion of the gaming industry that works that way, and some of these people are my favorite people in the world to fight with. They're the most beautiful and pure brilliant people. They're also some of the biggest fucking idiots. I've been in the game industry for longer than most anybody, getting to the gray hair and all that. It used to be the case that developers will throw the game over to the wall to the publicists and Salesforce with literally no interaction beforehand, and that model is baked into the philosophy of a lot of art forms and medium, and it's one that I'm deeply respectful of. I know their dedication and care, but this industry divides people between those who still hold to that philosophy and those who massively embrace how to figure out what makes a successful product. And I don't know a successful artist anywhere that doesn't care about what their player thinks. This is where the cycle of feedback comes back, and they can choose to ignore it, but to choose to know it all at all, it's not a great call. I've seen great games fail because they tuned their compulsion loop to 2 minutes when it should have been an hour. Sometimes you wouldn't even notice the product difference between a massive success and a tremendous fail. But for this tuning and what it does to the attrition rate, there isn't a developer on the planet that wouldn't want that knowledge. What fucking knowledge? To monetize everything and anything in an exploitative manner? And not only that, that fucking twat has the gall to call game creatives fucking idiots, for which he apologized in a very empty apology. Why is all of this? Well, this is all because Unity decided to merge with IronSource, a company that specializes in app monetization. Now, sounds icky, right? Well, it's all fun and games until I mentioned that IronSource is a company dedicated to use malware, or so to speak, adware to their business. More specifically, adware.ironcore, which is a recognized piece of malware by the Malwarebytes database. Now, if you really think money isn't the driving force for all these bad decisions Unity Technologies made, I'm sorry to tell you, but you ain't seen nothing yet. In August 2022 again, more recently, the US government sealed a deal with Unity worth $6 billion to work on a military defense. Now, one thing is working with a malware company, another is to call game developers idiots for not acting like a greedy executive, and another is to be a fucking pig. But to contribute to the US constant warmongering in the middle of an international conflict in Ukraine, in the middle of a crisis, just to be part of the same old military-industrial complex should be already the straw that broke the camel's back. These are some of the reasons why I hate Unity now, and you should pretty much do the same too. Unity is yet another one of those AAA game companies with greedy CEOs like John Riccitiello, whose only interest is not just get money, but get all of the money. For this reason, I refuse to touch Unity to make games, and I will be rather dead than ever making games with Unity ever again. There's already free game engines like Godot, which are free to use and are far better than Unity in every single regard, where you don't have to put a single penny to make some games. So start thinking wisely, game developer. Will you support Unity, or will you wake the fuck up already? I think the choice is obvious.